EOC Prep Answers, Living Organisms number 3, and we will be reviewing genetic variation questions 16 through 30. Question 16, the answer is A. The trait for the white hair must be determined by a recessive allele. Brown must be dominant to white. Therefore, both parents must carry both the dominant brown allele and the recessive white allele, and 2 copies of the white allele must have been passed on to the foal. Question 17. C. All forms of radiation have been linked to DNA mutations. These mutations can lead to cancer. The most common form of radiation that humans are exposed to is UV radiation from the sun. This form of radiation has been linked to skin cancer. Question 18. C. In sexually reproducing organisms, meiosis helps contribute to genetic variation. Meiosis is the process by which sexually reproducing organisms produce gametes or sex cells. Meiosis produces gametes that are unique from each other and from the parent genome. The gametes will be passed on to future offspring. 19. C. Both plants and animals are capable of sexual reproduction, which combines the genetic material of 2 parents, resulting in a genetically unique offspring. This type of reproduction helps increase the amount of genetic variation within a population with each passing generation. Question 20. B. Hemophilia is another genetic disease. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease. The mutation that causes sickle cell anemia produces red blood cells that are resistant to infection by the pathogen which causes malaria. Question 21. A. In general, the larger the population, the more genetic variation it will have, since larger populations will take on more mutations and will have more mixing of genomes. Similarly, the longer a population has existed, the more generations over which it can accumulate these genetic alterations. Question 22. D. Mammals with less fur would be naturally selected in warm climates. The opposite would be true for mammals living in cold climates. The genetic variation in fur thickness amongst mammals, therefore, is influenced by climate. Question 23. A. Type 1 diabetes and rheumatoid arthritis are both autoimmune diseases. AIDS is caused by a virus. Cystic fibrosis is caused by a defective chloride ion transport gene. During cystic fibrosis, mucus clogs organs including the lungs, liver, and pancreas. Question 24. B. Farmers can enhance the genotypic variety of their crops by crossing crops with very different characteristics, resulting in new combinations of alleles. This genotypic variety will result in phenotypic variety. Question 25. B. In animals that reproduce asexually, the offspring's genotype is identical to the parents. Therefore, the DNA of organisms that reproduce asexually were very little between individuals, causing the species to have less genetic diversity than species that reproduce sexually. Question 27. A. Multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease. Sickle cell anemia and hemophilia are inherited genetic disorders. Cancer is the uncontrolled growth of cells. While cancer is essentially disorder involving cell division, it is often caused by a mutation of the genes that control the rate at which a cell divides. 28. B. If a DNA polymerase makes a mistake during DNA replication, a spontaneous mutation will occur. Although this rarely happens because many DNA polymerases are able to proofread their work and correct their own mistakes. When mutations do occur, however, they might have little effect on the organism, or the mutated genes may cause body parts or systems to work poorly. In some cases, a chance mutation might prove to be beneficial, and the mutation may be perpetuated due to natural selection. Question 29. D. A mutation is a random change in a cell's genetic code. Due to a variety of causes, the change can be small and insignificant, or it can be major. Mutations can be passed on to offspring through reproduction, thus increasing the genetic variation within a population. Question 30. D. Mutations generally do one of two things. First, a mutation can lead to the loss of function of a gene. Second, a mutation can lead to a new function. Mutations can have various effects on the organism. Some mutations have no effect at all, and some change the morphology of the organism. Some mutations change the biochemical reactions within the organism. If a mutation is passed on to offspring and is beneficial to the offspring's survival, eventually the descendants of the organism with the original mutation may undergo speciation. Add up how many you have correct from 16 to 30 and divide that by 14, and same as always,